Hello there, barbecue friends. We have a beautiful sunny day today. It's around 80 degrees, a little bit of humidity, but it just feels perfect out here. So today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a long cook, a little more hands-on. We're going to break out the Napoleon Pro kettle here, set up the rotisserie. We're going to throw on a beef blade roast. It's going to be a few steps to this cook, so I'll take you along, show you exactly what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I'm going to roll the kettle into position here. Now this is going to be a fairly long cook, and my intention is to add charcoal along the cook. Now it's been in my experience, when you add unburnt charcoal to a fire, you get unpleasant smoke. So it's been my experience when you're adding new charcoal to a fire, there are some charcoals that give off very unpleasant smoke. So for this cook, I find whenever I'm burning unburnt charcoal and my food's still in the grill, I use a good charcoal, and I find this Fogo brand works really well. All right, now I'm going to add my instant fire starter here in the charcoal bed. You can see I don't have a lot of charcoal in there. Like I say, my intention is to add charcoal along as the cook goes. All right, now that we got the coals lit, let's get our meat ready. Should say we're getting our rotisserie rod ready at the same time. Now this is a split rod where it's divided in the middle, so I can separate this when I'm done to cook, put it in the dishwasher. But when this goes over the heat, sometimes threads loosen up. So what I'm going to do, got a little persuasion, so when we put all our pieces on, I'm just going to give everything a tighten with a wrench. Now I got this on Amazon for this grill. It's an Only Fire brand. If you're interested, I could put a link in the description. Now I got this boneless blade roast from my local butcher. Just looks so beautiful in the display. Now the one I bought is on the left. That's the beef blade roast. On the right are some pork blade roasts. All tied up like that. Had to bring it home. I was thinking rotisserie as soon as I seen it. Let's show you what we got. Look at this beauty. Look at all the marbling on there. Nice big roast. Here we have it. Like I say, if you've seen that in a display, when you say, hey, we got to put this on a rotisserie, here on a Napoleon Pro, need to put this on here first. Put that back through. I'm going to rotate it so my long tongs go into the meat here. Put our other prong on here. Same thing. Position it where the longer tongs are going to go into the wider part of the meat. Just like that. Tighten that in. Like I said earlier, use a little persuasion. Tighten up those thumb screws a little bit. Now you can see there's a little bit of fat on there. I'm not going to do any trimming on this or anything. I'm going to season it with barbecue Pit Boys, the Big Texan. This has got some nice pepper and garlic and chili flavor to it. Nice generous amount. There we have it. This is ready for the grill. See my fire starters burnt out here. My charcoal started here in the corner. You can see I got a nice heat source going in my charcoal bed. What I need to do is open this little thing for our rotisserie to fit through. Do the same thing on this side. Just like that. We'll put our rotisserie motor on here. We'll plug that in. Make sure it works. Yep. Okay, now we'll put our rotisserie in. Fit that into the motor. Now I'm going to take the drip pan here and put it right beside my charcoal basket. Quickly show you my setup here. Charcoal going, get that in there. Basket set up. Turn this to start rotating. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be adding charcoal throughout this cook. So I'm going to put a meter probe thermometer in here. For one, it's wireless, so it doesn't matter if it's on a rotisserie. Two, it's going to allow me to monitor both the ambient temperature in the grill and the interior temperature of the meat. Okay, now my probe's connected to the base here, so I'll insert it into the thickest part of the beef here. All right, let's close our lid. I'll set up the cook here on my phone on the meter probe app. So I set the target temperature, the interior of this meat, to 203. I want this meat to be well done. So only after a couple minutes of closing the lid, setting my rotisserie, I should mention where I have my vent settings. Now my bottom vent here, I have just under the 1, almost fully closed. And my top vent, I have, we'll go just above the fully closed position up on there. Here's the ambient temperature of my grill starting out here. We're about 275. It's only been on here for a couple minutes now. So this is a stage of the cook. I would probably add some chunks of smoke wood if you want to add more smoke to this. Now, I'm already using a lump charcoal, so I should have that smoke profile from that. And as I said, as I add lump charcoal, it's also going to give opportunity for more smoke. So I'll bring you back in a little bit when we do the next step. Okay, we're now at the 2-hour mark here on this cook. So my meter app is showing me I'm around 290 degrees ambient temperature. You can see we kind of spiked around 350 and then started coming down. The interior temperature of our meat's coming up. It's reading about 134 right now. So I'll open this up, show you what we got, see what things look like, and we're probably going to add a little more charcoal at this point. So my dome temperature's reading about 360 degrees. When my app was reading about 350, the dome temperature was up around 450 here on the gauge. So we're around 100 degrees off between where my temperature gauge is in the meat and where my dome temperature is. Now you can see where I didn't want to add too much charcoal at the beginning, or that may have really spiked. Anyway, I'll bring you in for a closer look. I should add, we're really starting to smell the beef flavor coming off of this. Oh, she is just looking beautiful at this point. You can see our aluminum tray did catch some of the drippings there. And most of our charcoal is burnt there. So we'll add up a little more of that. But again, look at the juices on there. It's just spinning around, basting itself. You can see I don't have to add too much to this. And like I told you earlier, I put the fresh charcoal there on the grill, and you can see that smoke starting from it igniting. So now we'll close our lid. We're just going to keep the damper settings exactly where they are, and I'll bring you back when we take a look again. Chances are it's going to be when this is done, and then we'll go over how much time it took and where we're at and what it looks like. I'll see you then. All right, the moment of truth here. We reached 5 hours on this cook. We got our Desired interior temperature here, now 199, but by the time we rest it, it's gonna bring it up over 200. The last time I checked on you was 2 hours into this cook. Since then, I only put a handful of charcoal 2 times. So really, we didn't go through a lot of charcoal on this cook. So I'll bring in for a closer look, show you what it looks like, and then we'll take this off the grill. You can see now we got a dome temperature of around 300. Getting a lot of that, I think a lot of the steam from the juices coming down and hitting the charcoal. But look at this. Just a beauty. Been rotating, basting in its own juices. Okay, so what I'll do, I'm just gonna put a meter probe in, not for temperature, but just show you the tenderness of this. Look at that, just going right in there. Love it. All right, just look at this beauty coming off of there. And just what I was looking for, fall apart tender. We'll set it on our board here. Take my probe out of there. I'm just gonna put a little bit of foil on there. We're gonna let it rest, maybe a half hour, and then I'll come back and we'll slice into it. All right, here we have it. Just under a half hour's rest. I am so anxious to get into this. The smell on here is just amazing. First, cut all the strings. Gotta pull the forks out. Oh, string meat. Wow. All right, here we have it. There's something so calming about this, cooking over that fire, just rotating like that, watching those juices flow. All right, let's get into it here. We'll take a couple slices off. Now this is fall apart tender. I could put it in a bowl and shred it apart, but I thought, let's see if we can make it. I'm picturing this nice profile of the meat here on the side. Oh yeah, the fats inside just rendered so nicely. Look at that. Once again, the Napoleon Kettle Pro comes through. Just look at that. So one of the things I was concerned about was whether or not this was going to be too smoky. Now there is a smoke profile to this, but it's actually not that strong at all. The seasonings on the outside did their job. Just pulls apart so nicely. Wow, that's delicious. So this is a beef blade roast, 5 hours on a rotisserie here on the kettle. It cooked very much like you would a brisket, only a brisket you don't normally put on a rotisserie. But hey, I wouldn't rule that out. I tell you, this turned out just fantastic. Yeah, I'm really happy with this turnout. Several different ways you can eat this. I'm sure this will make some excellent sandwiches. Well, if you enjoyed this video, appreciate you giving me that thumbs up. And again, you want to see more videos like this, click that subscribe. So I encourage you, get in your backyard, find your place, cook yourself up a nice beef blade roast, and we'll see you on the next one.